A very warm greetings to my dear friends and respected teachers. Today we are going to see about the topic database system architecture in database management systems. Before going into the topic, myself R.K. Privashni from first MCD section. Today we are going to see about the topic database system architecture. The database has been partitioned into modules that deals with each of the responsibilities of the overall system. The overall responsibilities of the database system has been partitioned into various modules and each module deals with its own responsibility. The main important functional components are the storage manager and the query processor. The other components are like the disk storage, storage manager, query processor, application programs and interfaces, and the database users. Next, we are going to see a schematic diagram of the database system architecture. The low level is the disk storage, which consists of the data dictionary, integers, statistical data, etc. Next level is the storage manager, and it is comprised of four components: buffer manager, file manager, authorization and integrity manager, transaction manager. The next level is the query processor. It consists of the DML compiler, detail interpreter, and the query evaluation engine. Next is the application interfaces, and the final stage is the view level or the users. So the important component storage manager. The storage manager is a component of the database system that provides the interface between the low-level data stored in the database and the application programs and queries submitted to the system. The storage manager is responsible for the interaction with the file manager. The raw data that are stored in the disk using the file system provided by the operating system. The storage manager translate the various DML statements into the low-level file system commands. By translating the DML statements, that is the queries, into the low-level file system commands, the storage manager is interacting with the file manager, and this provides the interface between the data and the database. Thus, the storage manager is responsible for storing, retrieving, and updating data in a database. What are the components of the storage manager? The first one is the authorization and integrity manager, and that deals with the satisfaction of integrity constraints and checks for the authority given to the users to access the data. Next one is the transaction manager, and this ensures that the database remains in a consistent state in spite of the failures, and the concurrent transaction executions proceed without any conflicting. Next one is the file manager, and this manages the allocation of space on the disk storage and the data structures to represent the information stored on the disk. The last one is the buffer manager, and this is responsible for fetching the data from the disk storage into the main memory, because it is helpful when all the data remains in the main memory, and this decides what data to remain in the cache memory. The buffer manager is a critical part of the database system, since it enables the database to handle data sizes that are much larger than the size of the main memory. So, as a part of the physical implementation, the storage manager implements several data structures like data files, which stores the entire database, data dictionary, which has the metadata about the schema of the database, and indices, which provide the fast access to the data items. A database index provides pointers to the data that hold a particular value, and hashing can be done as an alternative to the indexing. These indices are similar to that of the indices of a book. Next one is the query processor, and this is important because it helps database system to simplify and facilitate to access the data. The query processor allows database users to obtain good performance while being able to work at the view level and not be burdened with the understanding of the physical low-level details of implementation of the system. Query processor helps us to work in the view level and get a good performance. It is the job of the database system to translate updates and queries written in a non-procedural language at the logical level into an efficient sequence of operations at the physical level. And this is being done by the query processor. What are the components of the query processor? DDL interpreter, which interprets the DDL statements and records the definition in the data dictionary. Next one is the DML compiler. This translates the DML statements or the queries written in a query language into an evaluation plan that consists of low-level instructions that can be understood by the query evaluation engine. Query evaluation engine and thus executes the low-level instructions generated by the DML compiler. Thank you for this opportunity.